Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming and joining the shiur. And today we're going to start the learning about the Parashat Nitzavim Vayelech, the parasha of our week. We have two parashot this year. Nitzavim Vayelech Tafshin Pedalet 5-7 Tafshin Pegimel 5-7-8-3, and the parasha in the pasuk 11 in the chapter 30 says the following: Ki ha-mitzvah azot, because that mitzvah, asher anochi metzavecha hayom, that I am commanding you to do, lo niflet hi mimcha, is not niflet, meaning it's not so far away, it's not too high for you, velo rechokai, and that mitzvah is also not too far away. Okay, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu is basically saying, in other words, you have 613 mitzvot, you might think that you have to be almost an angel to be able to keep them. And here comes the Torah and says a pasuk that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells to the Jewish people through Moshe Rabbeinu, because on the Sefer Devarim, Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that is speaking with the Jewish people, and he says, this mitzvah that I'm giving you, don't think that you need to become an angel to go to the heaven, to go to the other side of the sea to reach that. No. Ki karov elecha davar me'od. That mitzvah is very, very close to you. You just need to make an effort. In parentheses, this is the reason why we are reading those parashot right before Rosh Hashana, because Rosh Hashana is the day that we are making teshuvah, we are returning to God, and we might say that the teshuvah, this is the mitzvah that you need to be, not to be a human being to be able to do that, to regret on your past, to leave your past way in order to choose new way how to behave, in the Torah and mitzvot. Come the Torah and says in that parasha, no, this mitzvah is right next to you, even the mitzvah of Teshuvah. So here we're going to go straight to the deep meaning of those psukim that we just read together. The psukim according to the meaning of Kabbalah and Chassidut. It says like that: Lehavin mahu mitzvah hazot. So the Torah in the pasuk says, Ki ha mitzvah hazot, because that mitzvah. Just like you are pounding on something, this mitzvah. And so the Ma'amar is asking the question, which mitzvah are you pointing on? Ki ha mitzvah hazot? If you are speaking about the whole Torah as one mitzvah, so you should say Ki kol ha mitzvot, because all the mitzvot are not so far away from you, not so high, right? And here you say, okay, mitzvah hazot, singular. Just like you are speaking on a specific mitzvah and you are pointing on that mitzvah, and this is the mitzvah that is really next to you, very close to you. And the question is, on what is the deep meaning of ki ha mitzvah hazot, that mitzvah? Vegam, second question, mahu asher anochi. Kadosh Baruch Hu's revelation, God's revelation in the world, we have many ways. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many ways how to reveal himself into this world. And here HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose a very specific way. The word Anochi. Anochi, it says in the books that this is a word in Egyptian. In old Egyptian is Anochi. And therefore this is the reason also why the Ten Commandments start with the word Anochi, because the Jewish people just went out from Egypt, so they knew Egyptian language. And now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am your God. But Anochi is in Egyptian. And here the question is, why when you are pointing on the specific mitzvah that you don't know which mitzvah you are speaking, because you are speaking in singular, you are also saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are pointing on yourself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Anochi, I am, in Egyptian. Why you choose Anochi and not Ani? Ani is also I am. Hine kol ha-mitzvot nikru b'shem mitzvot havayeh. So, in order to understand those two questions, in order to understand those two questions, you need to understand what are the mitzvot. The mitzvot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that every Jew is doing, every day. It says, mitzvot Hashem. We are calling the mitzvot of God the mitzvot of Yud Ke Vav Ke. The name. Why you are saying that? He says, Ki Ramach mitzvot aseh hen Ramach ivarim de Malka, because we have 248 positive mitzvot, commandments. And they are symbolizing the part of the body of God, because in the body of the human being we have 248 parts, and we are made just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has also 248 parts, if you could say like that, in his body. So if you are speaking about the body of God, so therefore we need to use the word, the name Yud Ke Vav Ke, mitzvot of Havayeh. Again, why we are calling the mitzvot Hashem, Yud Ke Vav Ke, and not mitzvot Elokim, mitzvot Kel, mitzvot Ado, Amonai, right? Why we are calling mitzvot Havayeh? Because the positive mitzvot are 248, which is the symbolizing the parts of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his body. And when we are speaking about the body of God, meaning the highest level of God, because we are speaking about God itself. And what is the name of God that is the highest one? Yud Ke Vav Ke. And therefore we are calling the mitzvot of Hashem mitzvot Havayeh, mitzvot Yud Ke Vav Ke, with the name. Vehine. So this is first introduction. Vehine. בתחילת דבר השם בעשרת הדיברות פתח אנוכי השם אלוקיך. As we said, that the Ten Commandments started with a specific way, not Ani Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God. It says Anochi, I am. And in the Sfarim it says that Anochi is much deeper. It's pointing on a level much deeper in a human being or in God than Ani. Ani is I am. Anochi is also I am. But between them, Anochi, it's much deeper than Ani. How do we know that? Because Anochi is a word which is made with Aleph, Chaf, Nun, and Yud. What are those letters? As Rashi Tevot, acronyms. They are acronyms of Ana, Nafshi, Ktavit, Ya'avit. Ana, me, myself. Nafshi, my soul. Ktavit, I wrote it. Yahavit, and I gave it. Meaning that Kadosh Baruch Hu says in the Ten Commandments, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, that I am your God. But not only I am, Ani. Anochi, meaning that myself, my soul, my highest levels in myself, I gave it to you through the Torah, because I wrote myself into the book. And therefore, it's very important to make sure to read books that are not coming from authors that are not kosher. But Rabbi, what's the problem? He's just writing his thoughts, he's just writing his meaning, what he has in his mind. No, because the human being is made, he was created as God, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gave the Torah, he gave a book. He wrote himself into that book. He gave himself into that book, right? Therefore, also us, when you are writing something, you are bringing yourself into those writing. So we see here first that Anochi is the word that is much deep, pointing on much deeper level in a human being than Ani. And second of all, that Anochi is the acronym of Ana, Nafshi, Ktavit, Yahavit, meaning that the man, or HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he says Anochi, it means that he's giving himself through his writing. At God, he's giving himself through the Torah, and therefore, if you have a question, how could I reach God? God is infinite, God is too high for me. Just read whatever he wrote, the Torah. And then, because he brought himself into the word of the Torah, so you will reach him as well. Okay? And this is the same for the human being, which are created as the image of God. And when we are writing something specific, a thought that we have, basically we are writing ourselves. So let's continue. It says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. So on the Ten Commandments, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I am your God. ולכאורה אינו מובן. Come here a question. A very nice question. איך שייך עליו יתברך לומר? How could you say on him, meaning on God, שבא להגיד שאנוכי הוא הווה אלוקיך? That he says, what he says? אנוכי השם אלוקיך, right? What is אנוכי? We said, I am, right? השם, י"ק ו"ק, is one level of God. אלוקיך, your God, meaning a lower level of God. So come Hashem saying, I am Hashem, your God. So we have three levels. You have the level of the soul of God. As we said that Anochi is the soul of God, the deepest meaning of the deepest level that we could find in God, Anochi, because Anochi is the Rashi Tevot Ana Nafshi Ktavit Yavit, as we said earlier. Then we have the second level, which is Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, Hashem. And then we have the next level, which is Elokecha, your God. I am your God. When I'm pointing on you, meaning that I am in your level. Avaye, it doesn't say Yud-Ke Vav-Ke with the Chav Sofit by the end. Because there is no Chav Sofit, that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is staying separate from you. I am God, that's it. I'm not looking for being in your level. Yud-Ke Vav-Ke. Elokecha, meaning that from that high level of Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, I'm going down to become your God, in your level, no matter which level you are, but I'm becoming your God, Elokecha, your God. Got it? Clear? Very nice. So, he says, the question is the following. How could you say that that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying in the one continuation, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God. Who is your God in your level? I am. I am, we said that this is the soul of God. Anochi, Ananav Shiktavit Yavit. So how come that Anochi is basically Elokecha, your God? Are you getting what I mean? We said that we have three levels. We have the first level of Anochi, which is the highest level of the soul. Then we have the second level of Avaye. Avaye, which is Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, which this is the name of God that represents God as is. Not when God is looking for becoming the God of the universe, the God of the creator. And then we have the third level, which is Elokecha, your God, meaning that he's looking for you to become your God. So when he says Anochi Hashem Elokecha, you have to decide. Anochi is I am, meaning that it's the highest level possible, and then you say Elokecha, your God. So you have to decide which one you are. And if you want to say that Anochi is I am, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to explain us, who am I? And then he said, you want to know who am I? Hashem Elokecha. I am God, your God. I have two levels. Who is Anochi? Is Hashem Elokecha, God, which is your God. The one that is separate from you, and the one that is going down into your level. Right? This is also problematic. You know why? Because he says like that in the words. Let's read in the word. He says, Er shayar lomar alav yitbarech. How could you say on him, on God, sheba lehagid she'anochi hu havaya Elokecha, that he comes to say that Anochi, what is Anochi? Is Hashem and Elokecha. We just said that Anochi is the highest level possible, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could reveal himself, even higher than Yud-Ke Vav-Ke. So how come that you could say Anochi is Hashem Elokecha? Is it clear, the question? Yes? Yeah, okay. What is the deep problem here? You could say, I am a human being, right? Which his name is David Shushan. So I said I am, and then I said David Shushan. My name is David Shushan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot say that. Because if you are saying the same as by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you must say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has also a body, has also an image, and you cannot have an image from God. So if you cannot have an image from God, you cannot say that Anochi is Hashem Elokecha, just like you are saying, I am David Shushan. You understand what I mean? So here comes
Here I don't see why it cannot be. Why not?
again.
Like
When
I am kind and 13 midots and
Yes.
everything, so why not?
so what the difference between kind?
That's the name. Like
That's
Jewish names
amazing.
sometimes.
That's an amazing question. That's an amazing question. What's the difference between Anochi Hashem Elokecha and saying that I am kind, Kel, Rachum, Vechanun, all the attributes, all the emotions of God? You know what is the difference? Because here we are speaking about Anochi. Who am I? Meaning, who am I in my essence? When Hashem says Ani Rachum, Chanun, Erech Apayim, you will never see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Ani Anochi Rachum. You will never see that. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot be merciful, because you are putting an image on him. Anochi is Anochi. That's it. You don't have any image on it. And here, what Hashem comes to say? Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Once again, you cannot put an image. Hashem and Elokecha are revelation of God, which are somehow connected with
There are
us.
many revelations of God in this world. So
What?
there are so many revelations of
Of
God
course,
in
but
this
not for Anochi. Anochi, this is the problem. When you are speaking about Anochi, you are basically saying that I am in my essence, and you cannot put any image.
world. Okay, it's not put an image. It's still meaning.
What?
It's not image. It's still meaning.
No, we just said Anochi, Hashem Elokecha are images. Why? Because Yud Ke Vav Ke, as we said, Yud is Chochmah, He is Bina, Vav is the 6 Sefirot, and He, the last one, is Malchut. So we see image here. Elokecha, I am your God. What is your God? Meaning that in the level that you're finding yourself, human beings, small, very small creatures, I am your God right now. Meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu went down from his high level to your level, meaning that you have an image here. And you cannot say an image on Anochi, because Anochi is much higher than everything.
Okay, not a problem. It's higher, but it's still the name of God.
But what? Hashem
It
Elokecha?
represents the name of God.
Anochi doesn't represent the name. I
No,
just explained.
Anochi
He's
is
just
I
saying-
am.
He's basically breaking himself down to come say I'm with you. Like it's basically take his essence and is bringing it down, but no image.
I'm not talking about image.
Huh.
We're talking about name.
But Anochi is not a name. Anochi means I am. I am.
Okay.
No, if I'm saying I am, if I am saying, look,
When you come to the room, and there are many people, not everybody knows the name of yours or mine. Okay.
but when you are saying,
What are you trying to get there?
what I'm trying to say is that Hashem Elokecha are names that designating a specific revelation of God.
So another revelations of God are not specific?
Hashem is one specific revelation. Elokecha, another specific revelation, which are very low according to the word Anochi. And Hashem cannot come on the 10 Commandments and say, Anochi, I am, who am I? You know who am I? Hashem Elokecha.
Would they understand this?
Huh?
At that moment, we have a crowd.
Yes.
Hashem appears, calls himself, and there are hundreds of teachers and rabbis who explain to the crowd meaning of Anahi.
But HaKadosh Baruch Hu he cannot go.
You understand what I'm saying?
What?
I'm saying there is a crowd.
Yeah.
People.
Hashem appears,
Hashem-
gives his commandments.
Yes.
You're talking about specific word.
Yes.
How this crowd can understand this word at that moment when Hashem appears.
But he could.
In this,
Hashem.
you cannot.
Hashem could say, Anochi asher hotzeticha. I am that took out for you.
Yeah.
Took
I
out
understand
you
he
from.
said, Now we're analyzing.
Yes.
Throughout the years, throughout the Hasidism. I mean, at that point, we're talking about that particular moment.
Yes.
The people do not understand it.
So here we are here to understand. So what the question?
No, that crowd that getting the commandment.
Yeah, we didn't understand. That's true. We didn't understand what happening in the world at that time.
Yeah.
They on that time, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, they were dying, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu how to put them vitality to stay in life. They wasn't focused to understand what is Anochi, what Hashem, what Elokecha means.
Yes. So what are we doing now?
So now we are analyzing for understanding what is the deep meaning of
But we
Anochi.
cannot explain them.
What does that mean? When you are one second. You could leave a specific situation. That doesn't mean that you are understanding that situation. A miracle could happen to you, but that miracle cannot. You are able to not understanding it right away. Later, 30 years, 40 years later, you remember that specific time and you say, "What a miracle!" It happened, right? This is the same. On that time, the miracle happens. They wasn't focused. They knew that they got Torah.
600,000 men,
Yes.
not educated, not prepared, not knowing
Nothing.
of any God's name except God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah.
And now they get the higher form of presentation of God.
Yes.
Now we, throughout the thousands of years, sitting here and trying to understand what Anahi means, they didn't know.
Of course. So what?
What
So
we trying to know.
but we have the possibility to understand more than they, because maybe they saw it, but we have the ability after all those years of learning and of rabbis bringing ideas, deep meaning in the Torah, to be
In
able
order to
to
do
understand and to analyze what is the meaning of each word.
So each word, basically.
Each word. Let's continue. Okay, so let's speak afterward because
Let me give you an example. Musicians. Throughout the centuries and generations, music develops to the point where we are now, in different styles of music, right?
yes,
So it was the rules and regulations and how to compose, and you cannot do this or you can do this and you cannot do. Suddenly, they came to the point where there is no law. There is no law. Throughout the centuries and generations, it was different law, and now there is
No law.
Whatever you do is great, because we achieved the level of everything.
yes.
What are we trying to achieve?
So basically, there is a difference between your example and what I'm speaking here, because in music, because it's a creation. By the end of the day, it's a creation. We must say that we had a peak, meaning the highest level of that creation, and from that peak is going down, 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 down. It must go down, because like every creature is going down. But when you are speaking about God, you cannot say that we have a peak and then it's going down, down, down. It could also go up. It could be anything, because we are speaking about God. And this is basically the difference between Jews and
But
the...
that's what you basically do. You say, Anahid is the higher form, and then don't.
No, but this is a problem for God. This is good for music, but for God,
No, that's what you're doing now.
no. You are saying about...
You said Anahid is the higher form, right?
Yes.
Then we have different kind of. It's not I'm the proclaiming this. You started this. It was in the lesson. You. Right?
So let's continue, and then we're gonna speak about that later. But the question is, let's put the question in mind, just to know.
You see, in order to continue, you have to be focused on something.
Yeah,
That's why
so
I
I'm-
asked the
I'm-
question. What are we trying to
So
achieve?
I'm giving you the
said
point.
Another lesson, and I wanted to be.
Yes, of course. Now you're very good to try to understand as much you can, and now I will give you the point for
Yes.
being able to
Yes.
to continue, and then we're gonna continue Bezat Hashem.
You hopping this?
So, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, we said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, since we are speaking about God, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to reveal himself at a specific way, he needs to stay on that way. When he says Anochi, meaning the highest of the highest level that possible, he cannot explain himself what is Anochi is Hashem Elokecha, because Hashem Elokecha are ways of revelations that are an image already, and Anochi doesn't have any image. So you cannot explain yourself and saying Anochi is what? Hashem Elokecha. Why we are going into that topic right now? Because Anochi, the same word Anochi of the Ten Commandments, we are finding here in our pasuk of the Parashat Nitzavim, which is Asher Anochi Metzavecha Hayom, that I am commanding you to do the mitzvot. And here Hashem doesn't say Asher Anochi Hashem Elokecha Metzavecha Hayom, just like he did in Ten Commandments. So the question is here, what is the meaning of Anochi? In order to understand what is the meaning of the word Anochi in our pasuk on Parashat Nitzavim. Let's continue right now the continuation of the Mama. Ach ha'inyan. The answer of that question is the following. כי הנה ידיעת אלוקותו יתברך שהוא ברא הכל מעין יש. Now we are creature. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us in a way that we are able to understand. This is basically one of the main points that the human being is better than an animal. Animals have also wisdom a little bit. We have wise animals. We have animals that are speaking a little bit. They are communicating between themselves. We have animals that are, right? They are eating, whatever they are doing, like a human being, but understanding a deep idea, human being. This is the privilege of human being, and this is the difference between human being and animal. Now, we are getting created here in a way that we are understanding that Kadosh Baruch Hu is here into this world, and he created this world from nothing to something. Me'ayin leyesh, right? And we say not only that he created from nothing something, he created and is continuing to create every second. How do we know that? Because we say it. Mechadesh betuvu bechol yom tamid maaseh bereshit. This is in tefillah. Tamid, like constantly he's creating it, right? Umehave umechayet kulam, and he's creating it and he's giving vitality to that creation. כבר היה נקבע ידיעה זו בלב כל ישראל מאמינים בני מאמינים גם קודם מתן תורה. So I'm asking that question. From when that idea of knowing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world and is continuing constantly to create happened? From when did we understood that idea?
Rakia.
From when?
Rakia.
From when? Which time? Which period of time? When the Jewish people is living thousands of years. At what time the Jewish people started to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created and is constantly creating this world?
When we took us out of Egypt, we got to show the miracles.
So you said Egypt.
Right.
You said Alexander?
Since he said it.
When he said it?
Since he said it. Where he said it?
When is
Here, in this parasha?
That is Amechadesh betuv. This is in the Tefillah. This is in Tefillah. It's not in the Torah. Hamechadesh betuv bechol yom tamid maaseh bereshit. Yeah, it's the Tefillah. So.
No, since he said it. You said since when?
Since when?
He said it.
It's the beginning.
So he says like that. He says. He says. We have here. We might think that this idea of the creation of God happened to be, we understood that at least since the time of Matan Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came into this world and he gave us the Torah. Since then we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. But come here the Mamar and saying, yo, this is not true. We know that even before Matan Torah. שידיעה זו היא בחינת הרגשה בנפש כמו ראייה שהרי רואים את השמיים ואת הארץ אשר בה. ואין הדבר עושה את עצמו. Why we must say that the creation that we understood as human being, that the creation is constantly creating itself from Yeah, every second. Even before Matan Torah. How do we know that? Very simple. And this will be a little bit hard for us, but it should be very logic. And if we're thinking this deeply, we might understand it clear. Since the heavens and the earth are creature, just like I am a creature, and I am at a specific point of time of my life, I will, after 120 years, I will pass away. So I have a specific time that I will stop to be, right? Created.
Yeah.
This is the same for the big world, which is also a man, because you say that the man is a small world, so the world is a big man, right? So the world also, at a specific point, needs also to be stopped. But here we see thousands of years that the sun is rising in the morning as if nothing happens, is setting up. We don't see any type of, weakness. We don't see that the sun or any other star or even the earth is becoming tired. How come? From here we're understanding that basically the creation is happening every second. And therefore, every second of the creation, we are on the day one, on the second one, every time. So we are always on a new world.
Every time.
And therefore, we don't see any signs of weakness, weakness in the world.
Climate change.
What?
Climate change.
The climate changed not because it became weak, because the human being did stuff that made the climate changed. You understand? Because of us, not because of... If, let's say, the pollution idea, all the stuff wasn't found, right? So the sun would be the same, the climate will be the same, everything will be the same. How come? It's a creature, and a creature cannot make itself.
Okay, you don't mess with his environment.
What?
You don't mess with the environment.
Yes.
If like you same with you, if you have hiccups in the road, you're gonna change your movement.
Yes. So here we see that we have creatures that are not tired, and if they are tired, meaning that they are created every second. This is very simple. So let's continue. He says, so therefore we must say that from Avraham Avinu, we must understand that from the time that the Jewish people became believers in God, we must understand that the creation of the world happened, and the creation is happening every second. Because if you are believing in God, meaning that Kadosh Baruch Hu created you, right? Because this is God, He created us. If He created us, and therefore we are passing away, we are finishing our life at a specific time, meaning that because I am a creature, because I am physical, therefore my life is finishing, right? So how come that the world is not finishing thousands of years like that? And we don't see any time, we are becoming a little bit old, so the hair is becoming, white, right? And so those are signs of change, or because we are getting older. But in the world, we don't see anything. We see that the trees are making leaves green as the first day. The sun as the first day. Nothing happens. We don't see any signs. That means that it's constantly. This is the proof.
You got that?
It's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Я понял.
And here,
Что это меняет?
It is not.
and here,
So basically, we're not as strong as the earth was built,
so once again,
Because we gotta go, but the earth is still here,
he says, "Umibesari echeze loka." What?
I said that, the earth still stands, but the humans gotta go,
Yes.
because we wasn't built as strong as the earth was built.
Yes.
As the sun, the moon,
Yes.
this other tree.
Yes, but this will be a real question if the world was created, many months ago. I was created weak, and the world was created strong. Therefore, I becoming old, but the world is not becoming old, because for the world to become old, it needs to be, wow, a lot of
At
years.
the same time, the Psalms of King David, which we use as a, let's say, decoding the Torah, King David says that where you will change the clothes, like, and everything will change, and maybe the world will disappear, but you will be the same. Talking about God.
Hashana.
Yes, but it doesn't say that the world is becoming old, the world will die. It's true. It's
That's what
true.
it says.
No, it's true that the Gemara says that the world was created for 6,000 years.
All right. Restart.
But it was created for 6,000 years, that every fraction of second is a new creation. 6,000 years of creation. And then where we are coming to the the 7,000th year, so then Mashiach is coming, meaning that the world is reaching his highest level. So we see here that the world is changing, but not because he became tired, not because he became weak. And this is the proof.
But why we discussing this? That the world became this way or the other way? Again, what does it changes or how it affects the time that now we enter into with our tshuva, with saying Salihot, with serving the God? What is the connection? You started with this,
So
I want to somehow to see the
So
problem.
you used to learn with me, and you know that we have many introductions in order to get to the main point. So we had questions, and we understood the question at the beginning already of the shiur, Anochi, etc. Now the introduction is the deep meaning, and this is basically the main of the Ma'amar. The main is to understand what's going on around us. What's going on around us? The creation. And what is the creation? It's just like we were created as well, and basically we are the center of the creation, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted the human being to be the highest level. And now let's analyze ourselves and the world. Let's put them, both of them, together and compare both of them. We see that the human being, we have many points to compare, but let's take one point. We see that the human being is passing away, he's getting old, he's getting weaker, and he is the center of the creation. This, for him, the creation happens, if we could say like that. And here we have the world, which is also a creation, very important creation, but we don't see any sign. Even by animals, we see signs of weakness by a specific time. Even by vegetable, the growth, by the end, they are dying. But the world, which is the stones, the world itself doesn't move, doesn't get tired, doesn't get weaker. And the question, Baruch Hashem, of course, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And
That's the point we're discussing this.
Yes.
Say finally, Baruch
But
Hashem.
we need to understand what's behind it, meaning that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us a message.
To show his power. At the end of the day,
He wants to show us his power, but we have to be.
basically you're trying to say this is how you look at Hashem. If you want to see Hashem, to find Hashem, like you say, you can find me, like Anochi, right?
Yes.
This is a description, basically the name describing we can't see Hashem, but if you really want to see Hashem, like you just said in the beginning, you just watch at the creation.
Very
But
nice.
the world itself is keep going, and we getting old, and then as we see, as we changing, the world doesn't change, but the world is changing every day. For eyes, we can't see, but we only see us changing, but we don't see the world changing.
This is the question, meaning that
In 3 sentences.
Is that the scope?
this is what we are looking
Yeah.
for, right? But we have also the solution. We are not only asking the question, we are also answering on that question. What is the answer? This is what we are pushing to say. We must arriving to that conclusion, which is, from here we are understanding that the world is being created every second. Because if not, it must be every, thousands of years, a sign of weakness according to what happened.
Right.
But here we don't see anything. So because the world is always renewing itself, so it's staying new, and therefore we don't have any sign of weakness. It's amazing, right? Very nice. So let's finishing the paragraph. It says, as Yov says, Omi besari chezeleka. There is a mitzvah. Yov says, we need to meet God through our flesh. Last time, if you remember good, I think with you, and also with you on Shabbat, we learned how do we know that there is God in the world. And we said, Mi besari chezeloka. From my flesh, we could meet God. How do you know that from your flesh? Are you able to see the life? You could see the consequences of the fact that you are alive, but you don't see the life itself. Because you are alive, therefore you are able to interact, you are able to move, right? But you don't see the life. You don't know what is the life.
Right, I don't know.
And because we are a small world, so also the world which is a big man, a huge man also, we see the consequences of the life of God, but we don't see God itself. So from the fact that we have a world around us active, that means that we have a life that we cannot see because we cannot see our own life, right? But we could see the consequences of it. So this is first point. How do we know God in the world? Second point, our lesson of today, which is Mi besari chezeloka. How do we know what we said? That the creation is happening every second. You know why? Because I see myself becoming old and old and old and old, and the world doesn't move. That means that I am created and being, being able, a process. But the world is created every second from you. Therefore, we don't have a sign of weakness. Okay, this is the two ways how to look. Mi besari chezeloka. How Yov said that from my flesh, I could meet God. And this is basically the deep meaning of Anochi Hashem Elokecha of the 10 Commandments. Thank you. So we're gonna pause here.
So
Baruch Hashem Leolam Amen Amen.
This is actually a little bit confusing.
What?
This lesson.
Why?
When you're calling me for shiur, you have to be careful.
No, of course. The opposite. The opposite. The people on the video will get angry on you. I am not getting angry.
No, because to come
Thank you so much.
To come to say that Anochi is a level its own. It's a level on its own. It has nothing, It's just Hashem names Anochi because it's as you said, it's me coming to you with my soul and writing my soul to you in the book.
Yes.
So if you want to know me, basically saying, if you really want to know me, just study the book.
Yes. So what is confusing?
No, but you went, for him it was a little deep. Like, what's the purpose of Anochi? I know this. Like, he didn't get the concept. You understand? That's why he asked you that question.
Yes.
He wants to get to the point.
Yeah, he just wants. You don't want the.
It's not a whole story.
He doesn't want the.